Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Now, after our conversation yesterday with Big Dave Manners and Nick Popoff, we were talking about the coast, right? Well, really right now, if you are chasing salmon and maybe thinking going forward, not yet, winter steelhead, although they've been caught already with photos, been proven, the coast is kind of popped right now, and that's the way it's going to be for a handful of days. It just is what it is. Thank goodness it finally happened. Those rivers really needed to get flushed out for a number of different reasons. We've already mentioned at least it gets the debris out of there, the leaves out of there. That's a huge deal to clean the river up a little bit and allow those fish to make their way up into the tributaries. Draw them out, which is my favorite thing. Get them out of the bays, get them up into the rivers so I can go after them. Now, bay anglers don't like that, but hey, it happens. Hopefully it continues to happen. It doesn't stop raining for a month. That's just me. So overall, things are pretty much quiet along the coast right now. And it will be for a couple days, and we'll show you in a little bit when the rivers start to come back, when you might want to think about heading back over there. But at the very least, there are some options around here. We're going to check in with Crappie Killer here in just a little bit, give you a different option. But if you wanted to go out and maybe say just get the boat out before the rains get too nasty, or maybe you're like me when we were younger and we actually could catch and retain sturgeon, not that you should only do that to go chase sturgeon around. Catch and release sturgeon right now is insane. I got photos yesterday. Well, listen, I would typically show them, but then he wouldn't share any more of his info with me on the Willamette. But at the very least, just hammering them below St. John's-ish area. Let's just say that, okay? In that stretch. It's a big stretch. There's a Toyota thing there, big stretch. Lots and lots of sturgeon. You need current though, so just make sure that you're hitting it on an outgoing tide or that you have current. Find current, and at least you should have an opportunity to get bit. That catch and release bite has been very, very good. Quickly though, let's take a look at river levels, give you an idea of what you can expect this week, and don't mind the rods. We're going to talk about those in a little bit. The Clackamas actually went up about a half a foot higher than what its forecast was yesterday. It did turn over. Same thing along the Wilson. It went up a full foot higher than what its forecast was. It is a little bit ahead of schedule on its drop, but we got a lot of rain that's coming. We're going to learn a little bit more about that. But you can see just vertical rises all along the coast. Doesn't matter if it's north, central, or south, but they have turned over. Now, with the water that we have expected to show up going in tonight and tomorrow, that could change some things. You can see that they're still forecasting a little bit of a rise there on all the rivers. This just gives you reference for those particular drainages. But yeah, this next week, depending on how the bird hunting is, well, no, I'm not. I'll go duck hunting. I'm sorry, I just can't help myself. Don New, he's going to be the featured guest featured speaker for Real Talk at the Southwest Washington chapter of the CCA. Like I always say, if you if you're not already a member of the CCA, please look into them. This is an organization that, I mean, that's all they do is try to help all of us and the fish. The most important piece of the puzzle is the fish. Hatchery and Wild coexist, the CCA, great people. But this is the way that you can learn a little bit more about Don. We've had him here many times. He's always a great interview. And if you want to have a chance to win that prize pack from ProCure, it is now based on, slanted towards winter steelhead. And that is not far away from where you seriously got to take that into consideration, although we do have some options to go after prior to that. But there you go. Make sure you send that email to Jason, give him a hard time, and you might have a chance to win. They send it to me every week, and it's always on my phone, and forgive me. Maybe I should have them send it to Ryan, and we can put up that winner. But yes, there is a winner every single week. Okay, let's go ahead and check in with Jeff. We haven't talked to Jeff in quite a while. Jeff, how have you been?
I've been good, Owen. How you been?
Been good, just rolling along, man, but expecting and hoping for snow and cold and rain. But it looks like we got a day or two of that, and things might change.
Yeah, I think those snow levels are going to be coming down early next week, down to about pass level. But the big story is going to be the rain over the next couple of days. Multiple rounds of showers and downpours coming in. I bet we end up with 1 to 2 inches of rain in the lowlands, 2 or more inches in the Coast Range and Cascades. Lots of water that's going to be pouring into our local streams and rivers. The first line of showers and embedded thunderstorms is approaching the coast. It's getting ready to arrive probably over the next hour or so. And this is going to be the first of a series of disturbances that are going to deliver quite a bit of rain and high elevation snow along and west of the Cascades. Storm Prediction Center is giving us a marginal risk for severe thunderstorms. We'll have scattered thunderstorms, but a few of those could turn severe near the coast and into the Coast Range. And then inland, I think we're going to have a better chance at seeing perhaps a few funnel clouds tomorrow. So the coast could see a few funnel clouds today with the wind picking up. Tomorrow, we're going to have some rambunctious weather inland as well. A wind advisory goes into effect tomorrow morning until tomorrow night. In our interior valleys, including Clark County, we can see wind gusts between 30 to 45 miles per hour. So big story is the fact that the weather will be getting more active later this afternoon. Downpours, isolated thunderstorms. It could be tough for that Thorns match at 4 p.m. Later this evening. Expect frequent showers and downpours tomorrow. Tuesday, we'll deal with showery weather. It'll wind down by the evening. Wednesday and Thursday should be mainly dry. And then Thursday into Friday, we're expecting our next round of rain and mountain snow. The snow level will be at about 4,000 to 5,000 feet around that time, but I think it's going to bottom out between Monday night and Tuesday, perhaps as low as 3,500 feet. Now that begs the question, Owen. I know you're talking about the hope that we will have some mountain snow returning. What are like the prime conditions for duck hunting? I know that's what you want to be doing there during this time of year.
Well, the hope is that we have water, right? And for us to have sustainable water in the Columbia, Willamette, and different systems, obviously the tributaries will flood into these bigger rivers, right? We need water that hangs out up on the mountain, so that's obviously in snow. If we don't have that, all this rain just shows up and it doesn't bounce the big rivers, which we want those river levels to come up because it gives us more opportunity, more places that we can actually hunt birds. So it's a big deal for us, and hopefully it actually shows up. But I have a question for you, too.
Go ahead.
Now, radar imaging is something that I've used over the years with migrating birds moving their way down from Canada, and some of the images you can get from different sources. Is that something that you ever noticed as a weather forecaster?
Oh, yeah.
Meteorologist, do you see that migration sometime in those radars? And when you do, can we see some of that too sometimes here? I'd love to see when they're moving down.
Oh my gosh, we see it all the time. It'll be a completely dry morning or a dry evening. Around sunrise and sunset, we'll just see kind of like this ring appear on radar on the map. And we're like, okay, it's not rain, obviously. It's migrating birds or birds taken off in flocks. So it happens more often than you would think in the Pacific Northwest.
I love that. Years ago, I used to get information from a fellow duck hunter from an airport up close to Seattle. Okay? And you're like, hey, man, they're coming at you. And I'm like, how do you know this? Well, the radar's showing it. So that's why I asked the question. Jeff, thank you very much. We appreciate it. All right, we're going to cut to a break. When we come back, I'm going to introduce you to somebody that you need to know. Crappie killer. That's all you need to know. If you like to chase panfish or maybe just want to figure out another tool in your box to go after them, stick with us here. We're going to give you some great options for a different fishery right here close to home. We'll be back in just a minute.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by P-Line, because we fish, by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.